says, for him who takes his own life with full knowledge of his action, the Hebrew word is badaf, no rites are to be observed. There is to be no rending of clothes and no eulogy. Did you hear this? You didn't know any of this. But people should line up for him at the end of the burial ceremony, and the mourner's blessing should be recited as the family passes through out of respect for the living. General rule amongst Jews is whatever rites are normally performed for the benefit of the survivors should be observed. Whatever is normally done out of respect for the dead should not be observed. Didn't know that, did you? Now, we all mourn suicides in America because it hurts us. It kills us. And that goes to another point that is controversial, and I understand it. But since talk radio is about talk and about opinion, I will give you my opinion on suicide. It is the most selfish act you can commit. It is absolutely an act of aggression, especially in the cases of the type that we have seen recently. Kate Spade kills herself by hanging herself in a closet in her Park Avenue apartment and leaves a note for her 13-year-old daughter that says, "Ask your father why I did it." If that's not an act of aggression, I'd like to know what is. There was another famous one near where I live. A comedian hung himself with a strap in a garage, hushed up by the liberal media he obtained. They named a tunnel after him. They could do that, but he was a terrible role model for children. They say, well, who was he? Oh, a guy who hung himself with a strap in the garage. Well, my friends, as I said then, and I'm very consistent, it was an act of aggression, in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the biomedical or the chemical reactions of various substances. Suicide rates are up. Why? Let's go back to my initial statement. No God, no faith, antidepressant meds, marijuana, too much sugar, negative media. Now, let's talk about marijuana and depression. Many of you took me up on that and said, Savage, I agree with you on everything you said, but not marijuana. It saved me. It's actually mellowing me out. I am warning you as I sit here. Marijuana is being oversold to populations in the West as a form of annihilation. It will annihilate the West. Marijuana is a death drug. And I'll leave it at that. I know what's going to happen, though. Every time I tell you anything about marijuana that's negative, I get the potheads who call, and they get defensive. So, Jim, don't take any pot is good for me calls. I'm not interested. I don't want to hear it. How's that? U.S. suicide rates increased more than 25% since 1999, CDC says. What's interesting is where the rates have increased. You'll never believe this. You'll never believe this. Nor would you believe what the reasons are for the suicides, according to the studies that have been done. How about the methods of suicide? But I really want to focus on the drug industry. And I don't mean the gangs in the streets. I mean the medical drug industry. I mean the pharmaceutical doctor industry. I mean the pharmaceutical medical industry. I mean the medico-pharmaceutical industry that is pushing antidepressants down our throats. Every review I have seen shows the same thing. Antidepressants can raise the risk of suicide. Biggest ever review finds. An analysis of 70 trials of the most common antidepressants involving more than 18,000 people found that they doubled the risk of suicide and aggressive behavior in under 18s. Now, you don't want to hear this. Many of you are on antidepressants, and I'm not here to tell you don't take them. Go to your doctor. Talk to the quack. The doctors prescribe antidepressants right now like M&Ms, what used to be prescribed for Halloween. But what are the side effects of these antidepressants? How many years have I preached to you on these airwaves about the overuse of psychotropic or psychoactive medications, whether they be for children, for treating non-existent illnesses, overdiagnosed illnesses, invented illnesses, putting kids on speed. Then the kids go out in the street and get illegal drugs to keep the high going that they used to get in elementary school from whatever they were taking, Adderall, Ritalin. The kids are being turned into drug addicts, and they turn into adults. Yesterday, early in the morning, I went to a coffee shop. And I usually don't go out in the morning because I'm too busy, but I decided I had to get out in the morning. And there it was again. Middle-aged, nice young white couple, maybe in their late 30s, two kids, nice-looking kids, in the coffee shop. And what were the children eating for breakfast? With mommy and daddy, the smart white people. The children were eating pastries,